Hey everybody, welcome to another episode. I'm with your host. Today we're going to talk about why there was no Surface Pro announcement and what I'm expecting over the coming months or a year from Microsoft. But before we get started, I want to thank everybody for coming here, spending the part of your day to be here, and if hitting the thumbs up button, I really appreciate it. And you can check out the comments section how you can support the channel by checking out the links down there and going to my Twitter page. Now, as everyone knows, the Surface Laptop 4 was just announced to a lot of great reviews, including my own from my day-to-day use at work with them. Great devices, obviously physically no major differences. Everything's on the inside, and the sandstone colors actually sandstone instead of pink gold now. But aside from that, the biggest change is just all internal. Microsoft finally made the move to go AMD multitasking, really start helping out the actual consumer side for enterprise and content creators, because the extra cores, extra battery power, and performance for the AMD chips is really going to help everyone out. And realistically, so is that extra RAM. Bumping the AMD chips from 2400 up to 4266 was something that should have been done last time, but it's great to see. Obviously, it's a little bit high latency on the RAM, but realistically, those extra cores, the battery life, and being able to get that for $9.99 with the build quality of a Surface is absolutely amazing. But the more important part is that that's the only thing they announced hardware-wise when it comes to the actual computers. They announced the Surface Laptop 4 and some accessories. What they did not do is upgrade the Studio, the Pros, or the Books. Now, we know the Books and the Go got announced, updated last year, but they only got some processor upgrades. The Go actually got a little bit better bezel, but realistically, these things are not competing with other tablets. The Samsungs, the coming Chromebook tablets, the iPads are light years ahead when it comes to the physical design. And as of the new announcements between with Samsung working with AMD and the M1s going into the iPad Pros and actually being able to go up to 16 gigs of RAM, the difference between them is starting to shrink. Obviously, the Surface is the only major top-of-the-line device that runs Windows that at least is people really look at from the day-to-day. So it's really important for Microsoft to actually get this correct. And hopefully this year, obviously everything's delayed, but what I want to see in the second half of the year is an announcement of the Surface Pro 8. And with that, I want to see them go heavily AMD again, just like they did with the laptops, obviously mostly because the heat dissipation and the extra battery life that AMD is going to provide over the Intel counterparts. But I also want to see a change in the body, right? I know these things are used for enterprise, so we definitely need it to be sturdier and be a little different than what Samsung and Apple have to offer. But realistically, if they really want this to expand in the enterprise market and get more and more people to look at it in the consumer market, they've got to figure out how to bring everything into 2021, looking in forward. Not just bring the devices to 2021, but be like, when you buy a Surface, this should be lasting for years. So start thinking about this in 2023, and you need to start looking at how you can continue to make this thing thinner, give it more performance, make it lighter, more battery life, and realistically get this on par with what Samsung and Apple are providing on a day-to-day. And soon, there are some also Chromebook devices that are going to be right on par with the Samsung and Apple devices later this year that are going to come out with a 7C and 8C processors. That's what I'm really thinking. The Studio itself, I think, needs to get redone from the top to bottom. Keep the same design, but obviously, even when they upgraded it a year and a half ago, they were keeping 7th gen processors from Intel. Realistically, that device is absolutely amazing. They need to bring up a price point down a little bit with a smaller screen, the exact same screen, just a little bit smaller, and really start putting that in the hands of architects and day-to-day content creators, because the future is content creation when it comes to a lot of these devices. And the more devices and the easier it is to use this kind of stuff, it's really going to help out the day-to-day. It's going to make the internet better. It's going to make content creation more enjoyable, easier to use, more people able to access it, and making that market a lot bigger by making sure that the Surface Studio is the standing point that everybody can actually get into that entry point and actually have something that's reliable. Again, They can continue to go with Intel, but again, they need to go with some Ryzen 5 options, Ryzen 7 options, keep the same screen, get those 512 1 terabyte SSDs in there, 16 gigs of RAM. Also, have those devices actually in store so people can see them and, excuse me, to see them and be able to figure out what these things are. All I know is Microsoft really needs to get this going, and they really need to get the other half of their line up to par. The Surface Laptop really needs a redesign coming up soon. I really like it, but that needs a major redesign next year. But right now, with them not announcing the 8, we really need them to come to the table with some big upgrades physically, performance-wise, and realistically also on marketing. Tell me what you guys think. What do you guys want to see in the Surface Pro 8? What do you guys want to see in the expanding world of the Surface line that's not the Surface Laptop 4 that we just saw? And let me know what you guys want the next video to be about. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up button. You guys are amazing. I really appreciate you, and we'll see you next time. You guys take care.